What would a Sherlock Holmes type character be like in ancient Egypt? What would a James Bond type character be like in the future? What would a Batman type vigilante be like during the Renaissance?
I can tell you what James Bond in the Renaissance would be like. Everybody's got a screenplay. Here's mine. In 1995, I wrote a screenplay called Fury, which had a character which was basically James Bond in the Renaissance. Q was a young Leonardo da Vinci, and the villain stumbled across germ theory several centuries early and realized he could hold cities for ransom by threatening them with the return of the plague. One of the things about that version was that it wasn't really quite cinematic enough because, disease is hard to dramatize on screen. And the other thing is that there was a lot of conflict between factions that would have probably been easier to handle if it had been more like Game of Thrones with fictionalized groups of people. Post 9/11, I rewrote the screenplay to de-emphasize the Ottoman-Venetian conflict and made the villain into the world's first mafia don, a man who was inventing the concept of organized crime. The story in this version escalates when he discovers an ancient, magnetically powered railgun called the Horn of the Ram that smashed the walls of Jericho. The hero is still my Renaissance-era James Bond figure, although in the later version, I introduced Lucretia Borgia as the villain's gun moll, and I also have Machiavelli as the leader of the Ten of War, who fulfills a role similar to M in the Bond franchise. I kept that material to myself other than shopping it around Hollywood for years, but once it kind of developed on its own as a genre, clockpunk, I started to realize there was no particular reason for me to sit on my version of it. I noticed in 2009, Assassin's Creed had a Da Vinci Q character in their video game.